keep turning, keep turning, keep turning, and then I tend to push back, and you can see she buckles on it. There's not much there. You don't want to excessively muscle test a suboccipital. You will strain them. I'll tell you for certain. You know, it's all experience, right? Okay, turn your face to the left. Keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. You want to let them keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. And you can see that as soon as I apply pressure, she's buckling on me. You know, I don't want to try too much harder. Okay, so you have to have a therapeutic effect in here or it won't work. I constantly do this because when I am doing specific adjustments in the upper segments, and I know it doesn't relate to all of you, but if I'm doing, because I do a specific adjustment called an OTZ adjustment, which is, are you familiar with the OTZ adjustment? Okay, so an OTZ adjustment, it's interesting. It's similar to what Nuka does with upper cervical adjusting, but what it does is it's a posture adjustment that gets the atlas off the brainstem. And so I get these clients with funky symptoms, and if you can get that pressure off, you can get things functional. So really cool, just as a side note, but in order for me to make those adjustments hold, because people don't want to keep getting them done, they're really aggressive, and they can give you some strange feelings. So I rely on this 100% to make it hold. If the suboccipitals are not functional, that adjustment does not hold for them, and they don't want to keep getting it. So that adjustment, I know, will, for me, if this is strong, hold for sure. Okay, so that's why this muscle here has a profound effect, a very profound effect on the body, because it has so many proprioceptors that it can just give you so many symptoms. It can give you those headaches. It can make people just feel dizzy, feel wonky. There's just lots of things that are associated with this muscle. So this is one of the most important muscles that I teach clients to roll. Okay, so here we go. So what you're going to do is you're going to roll. I'm going to show you a couple different ways, okay, because we're going to work it out to what's going to work for you. Now what you're going to do is, unfortunately, we can't get perpendicular to this muscle, but we can pin it pretty good. Okay, so if we contact that and maintain that contact while we turn the head, we will compress it and roll it. So what you're going to do is always work one side at a time. So the first thing you're going to do is just gently push your head back. And when you say that, people are going to do this. No, you're not lifting, you are compressing backwards. Okay, so just compress backwards. It's like while you compress backwards and you maintain that tension, you're going to turn the head sideways till you squish the ear. No, and just go as far as you can. And for everybody, for some people, because our attachment site is around over here, you want to make sure that they go all the way to its attachment site, right? Midline to attachments, midline to attachment site. Now you're going to go at a steady pace. Speed it up just a little, yeah. And go like that, not to compromise it, but just to move it, just to like that. 6 to 8 times per side, 2 times through.
So you right side? 2 times through? No.
Well, why don't you go through the routine? Now, unfortunately for you, it's not going to cut it. I'm going to explain why. Okay? That's because at this point, this exercise helps people develop tolerance. It is not therapeutic. It is not deep enough. Remember, compression and depth is what makes this stuff therapeutic. That's why that roller yesterday when we worked on the glutes didn't remove inhibition. This exercise right here won't. I'm going to keep showing you guys how to advance it. It's because you don't start with the most aggressive version of this. You need to build up to it. It's a very sensitive area. So, no, let's just do this side. That's okay. I don't want to bug things too much for you today, seeing as we're just starting it off. So you're going to notice, and we can work around glasses too. It's okay. It's all good. You can, yeah. So start turning your face to the right. Keep turning, and keep turning, keep turning, keep turning. So you might have felt an edge better. It was not enough. Okay? So it might make her feel better, but it won't get you a result. Okay? So that's why if, say you're showing it in a class, because this is an awesome muscle for people to roll, never too aggressive, but the benefits are pretty great. So getting them to roll it enough or build up that tolerance is important. So the next thing you're going to want to do, okay, so the technique isn't going to change, the compression is going to change. you can do a couple things, okay? I'm just gonna show you, so hang there before you do. Does that feel good while you're laying there?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so one thing you can do is just elevate the shoulders. That is just a small incremental change. So I can just elevate the shoulders because it's gonna add a little bit of pressure. So that is one way of changing the pressure, okay? Another way, whether with that or by itself, pulling on the roller, right? You can see how I'm just kind of bringing it back to all those things we talk about with pulling on the roller, okay? So then if I've done that and then maybe lifted this, I have some good pressure. Now my last technique, the one that I use most often, won't be in the book just because it's something that I've just tried to, and I developed things over time, found that works best for people. So those are ways to maybe bridge the gap from that first one into this one, because this one can get firm. But then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically cup my forehead and I'm gonna push it back. And I'm going to, and this is most important that you have to reinforce to your clients, you maintain that compression, that pressure while you're rolling, because if they squish here and then as they turn, they let off, right? They're not maintaining that pressure to release the entire tissue. Now, the last thing, once they've done that, so just keep watching me, okay? So I'm just gonna go step by step, and we'll review as we go through this. Okay, so now I'm doing this side to side, but there's one rule I taught you, so this will be the next way to go. Well, what is the rule to getting deeper into a tissue? Shorter the rolls, the deeper you get, right? So recently I had a gentleman who was having a struggle with making the suboccipitals become uninhibited, right? So what I had to do was I had to break him down and break this muscle into halves, then into thirds. So what I mean by that is then you work it in, and this is how I do mine to make mine hold, and then second, and then third. Like that. Okay? You guys see that? So you can see I just did a whole range of things, and that's because when you have a sensitive area, you need the tools to help your clients learn that.
So you said that that first roll to the ear was going to be a half, say a half that, finish that half, and then come back and do that.
Exactly.
Again.
Yeah, so you can do like the first half and then the second half, or in thirds. Thirds is even deeper because then you have broken it down into smaller segments, which we know has a more isolated therapeutic effect. But it's not for everybody. If the 2 segments is sufficient, then it's sufficient. So I'm not saying that I have to do it for everybody. Sometimes the single movement is enough. But that's why it all depends on everybody's tolerance if they have symptoms. You know, if somebody has had a bad concussion and they have a lot of sensitivity in there, being aggressive is not the right approach. But